Now we are going to move on to the summary completion. So, and we are considering Cambridge IF9, Test 3, Passage 1. Cambridge IF9, Test 3, Passage 1, sorry. And we're looking at question 9 to 13. Okay. So very quickly, when we talk about summary completion, as the name implies, we are just summarizing a part of the passage. So usually they won't give us to summarize the whole passage. So they will take a part, probably one paragraph or two paragraphs, and summarize it for us, leaving some gaps for us to fill in. Now, this part is quite I need to point out the fact that a lot of people during the assessment we had would have probably do more, but because a lot of people didn't pay attention to the instruction here, it says complete the summary using the list of words A to I below. Now write the correct letter A to I in the boxes. So in your answer sheet, you are expected to write letter A to I and not the word list itself. So for instance, if descriptivist is the answer, it's A that you write in your answer sheet, not descriptivist. So I initially made that question MCQ, but when I considered that a lot of people might not pay attention to the question, I changed it to a short answer question type. All right, so having said that, let's start. So the title of the passage is Attitude to Language, and in summary completion, because like I said, it's just a part of the essay that they've summarized for you. How do you know that? Two things you can quickly do. Look at the topic, the topic they gave that summary, the language debate. So it's not the same thing as attitude to language. It's just a portion of the discussion, the writer's opinion about attitudes to language. So there definitely a point in that passage where it seems like they were arguing, they were debating, or two or more opposing views or perceptions were highlighted. Okay, language debate. So that is what you need to look for in the passage. Okay, then one other thing is you have to quickly read through. According to Dash, there is only one form of language because you are looking for one correct form. So you are looking for words that you can quickly find here to sort out which part of the essay they have picked this from. So linguists who take this approach to language place great importance on grammatical something. Conversely, so you are looking for nevertheless, however, on the other hand, the view, which is perception or anything, opinion. Now, this is very important. A name like Joseph Priestley cannot be paraphrased. So that is something you want to look for to know which part of the article you are actually considering. So I'm going to look for that name to know where I am focusing on. So I'm looking for Joseph Priestley. So I could find him here. This is the name, Joseph Priestley. Here, Joseph Priestley. So now that is a pointer, and that is a very important pointer. So I look at the question again, such as, you can see such as Joseph Priestley. And one interesting thing about summary completion is that you don't have to change words so much. You just leave whatever is applicable, that is grammatically correct from the passage, and you put it into the gap they already allotted there. So now, Joseph Priestley only appear around question 11. So that means for me to get question 9, 10, 11, I have to move backward. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up just one or two paragraphs above where I found that name, that pointer. So, okay, so let me come here. In its general sense, prescriptivism is the view that, so this is a view, so I think I'm right to start from here, is the view that one variety of language has an inherently higher value than others. So I'm also, because one correct form of language, I'm looking for that. So, and that this ought to be imposed on the whole speech. What they have said there is that one variety of language has higher value. So it doesn't mean that is the same thing as one correct form. So this view is propounded, especially blah, blah, blah. So adherent to this variety are said to speak or write correctly. So now, adherent to this variety are said to speak or write correctly. This is something. Deviation from it are said to be incorrect. Okay, so this is enough information already to say that now they are talking about the prescriptivist. Okay, in general sense, prescriptivist, sorry, is the view. So they are talking about, according to prescriptivist, okay, which is these people. Okay, so for 9, that would be age. Okay, there is only one correct form of language, full stop. So they have said adherent, so the prescriptivist said it are said to speak or write correctly, and deviation from it, is incorrect. So that is good. I might still have to read and what to see if there is anything about that. So let's still read and what all the main, because Joseph Priestley is still far down here. Okay, so all the main languages are studied prescriptively, still talking about prechristity or something they call them. So especially in the 18th century approach to writing, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The authoritarian nature, let's say the authoritarian nature, still talking about approach, is best characterized by its reliance on, so they've moved away from that. So up to this point, I've been able to find out that that is what they're talking about. So linguists who take this approach to language place great importance on grammatical something. So still talking about this prescriptivist. So they is best characterized by its reliance on rules. So what they place great importance on is rules of grammar. So if I great importance on grammatical, so we check here, human language, we check evaluations. Yes, so we have rules, grammatical rules. So they've changed. So what they usually do is just to change the form of sentences. Instead of saying place great importance, they said it's characterized by reliance on rules of grammar, grammatical rules, you can see. Okay, so now, so then I said conversely, so I know most likely I'm not going to find the answer because it's an opposing view. Okay, so I'm going to erase all I've entered, underlined here. So anything close to that. So let's go to the next paragraph. The next paragraph is likely going to be a new idea. So this attitude, this is beautiful. So nevertheless, so it's going to say something. There is an alternative point of view that is concerned less with standards than with the fact of linguistic usage. Okay, so this approach is summarized in the statement that the task of the grammarian to describe, not prescribe. So from here, I know this is a different one. These are the prescriptivist. Okay, so this should likely be the people that describe now. Okay, so which are descriptivist. Okay, so yeah, I'll say in our own time the opposition between descriptivist. Okay, so that is descriptivist. describe, okay? So despite the fact that you didn't see it there, but you know, that is the describe, sorry. So let's move on. So they describe, not prescribe, to record the fact of linguistic diversity, okay? And not to attempt the impossible task of evaluating. So they are not evaluating. So if anybody thinks of evaluation here, that would be wrong. That's not going to be, or altering language change, not about change, as you can see. In the second half of the 18th century, we already find advocates of this view. So still a descriptivist. So we come back to Joseph Priestley. So I know the answer to 12 is just after Joseph Priestley, okay? So whose rudiment of English grammar insists that the custom of speaking, so what am I looking for? Is that grammar should be based on, so I will look for insist that the custom of speaking, that is grammar, insists that the custom of speaking is the original and only just standard of any language. Full stop. So linguistic issues, it is argued, cannot be solved by logic and legislation, and this view has become the tenet of modern linguistic approach to grammatical analysis. So this is something different entirely. So now I'll focus on just after Joseph Priestley. So they said Joseph Priestley is that grammar should be based on dash. So grammar should insist that should be based on that the custom of speaking. Yeah, so the custom of speaking, what can we give? So the custom of speaking from a language, yeah, that is popular speech. That is C. That is C. Very, very instructive there. Very instructive there. So all right, so I'll just move on to question 13. So as we have said, 9 is H, 10 is F, 11 is A, and what you can do is to read through. It must be grammatically correct, okay? So such as Joseph Priestley is that grammar should be based on popular speech. Oh, that's fantastic, okay? So I'm going to clear all the thing of all my drawings because I want to answer question 13, which is a form of MCQ and also asking us for the central theme of this passage. So now choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D, okay? Write the correct letter, yeah, definitely. So what is the writer's purpose? So what is the writer's purpose in passage 1, which is the whole, also writer purpose? What is the aim? What is it trying to achieve for the whole passage? So two ways of answering this question, and I'm sure you have inadvertently applied that principle for those who got this question right. You must have approached it that way. First of all, you want to look at what is the central theme of the passage. Sorry, what is the central theme of the passage? I think I went. All right, good. So the passage is all about attitudes to language. So if you just take the topic sentences in each paragraphs, it will tell us, because a whole passage in English language is just a list of interconnected ideas which are represented in each paragraphs, okay? So if you just take the topic sentences in each, you have an idea of what it's saying. So it started by saying that it's not easy to be systematic, to be objective about language studies. So telling us that there are different views of language criticism and all that. So language, moreover, is a very public behavior. So I'll move on. In its general sense, prescriptivism. So now looking at two types of people, of linguistic ideas and all that. All the main languages have been studied so, especially in the 18th century. So talking about giving us some dates there, and then talk about the descriptivist as well. Then I'll just go to the last part. In our own time, talking about the current days the current days, the modern day. So the opposing blah blah blah. Sorry about that. I'm going to clear that now. So in our own time, so as you can see, so let's look at the options. So what the writer purpose is to argue in favor of a particular approach to writing dictionaries and grammar. Obviously, that's not what the passage is all about. To present a historical account of the varying views. So this look more like it. Now, but I won't quickly conclude that that's my answer. I'll describe the differences between the spoken and written language. Not really. That's not what the passage is all about. To show how a certain view of language has been discredited. They mentioned some of these things there, but that's not the main aim. That's not the writer's purpose. He much more presented an historical account of different views of language. Okay. Well, I think with that, we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you for joining. If you have any question now, you can just let me know. But for the sake of people who will watch this later, I'm going to stop the recording. All right. Thank you so much for